Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Amy Leisner Show. Obviously, I have a friend with me today. This is Tia, and we're going to be talking about all kinds of fun things, marketing, and about publishing a book, and whatever else comes up, comes up. So I'm very excited, and I'm just going to hand the proverbial microphone over to you, Tia, and let you kind of introduce yourself, tell our people who you are, where you're from, what you do, all the things.
So hi, my name is Tia G. I am your sassy Black friend. Not always the one you want, but definitely the one you need. So I have always been the friend who tells my friends all the things, and sometimes they listen, and when they do, it really works for them.
Perfect. You're a coach.
And, right? Yeah, just kind of natural born coach for life. And 3 years ago, actually this month, my entire world fell apart and I found myself sobbing in front of an empty closet, as we do. If you have not had a breakdown and sobbed in front of an empty closet, are you even living? Mm-hmm. So I decided from that point that I had to pick myself up and go somewhere else. And through the process of doing that, I found so much joy, because that's what I decided to look for. I thought from there, what is the purpose of this life? And I'm like, oh, I want to be happy. I don't care about anything else. I just want to be happy. And so I thought to myself, what would it take for me to do that? And I knew deep down in my soul, the first step is taking steps, because moving your body is key to being healthy, happy, and well-grounded. So I started walking and I fucking hated it. Oh, can I swear?
We have the explicit little E on our show, so you good.
Perfect. I fucking hated it. I was a triathlete at one point in time in the past, and the vision of myself that I held, I'm a triathlete, and that's my favorite version of myself. So I started moving towards that by walking every day and, you know, looking up the gurus, the Tony Robbins, and that sort of thing, and just kind of learning what it takes to be happy and figuring out how I could do that for myself. And now, 3 years later, I want to spread the joy all around the world to everyone and just share that we get to decide where our life is going, and we get to decide how we feel. And it's hard. Make no mistake, it's hard. But you know what's harder is just being miserable every day and crying on the floor in front of your stupid closet. Like, so that's kind of how I got started, and that's where I am now.
Yeah, I love that story. And it's crazy once you realize how much choice you do have in life, because we've grown up around even the language that people decide to use about like victim mentality. They don't mean to have victim mentality, like even saying something like, oh, you make me feel bad, or, you know, it's like, well, really, like, okay, so there's circumstances, but then you actually have it's going to suck. Like you said, it just feels shitty in the moment, but like knowing that you can make that shift and kind of take your control back and like decide to feel good is pretty amazing. And I don't know about your experience, but it takes like practice, right? Like, it's like a muscle, you know?
Yeah, it's funny. When I first got started, I was like, okay, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. And so first I'm going to do mindset work, because I need to shift my thinking from like being in a career for almost 20 years that I lost suddenly and thinking that that was security. And then when I lost it, I was like, whoa, I have nothing, and that wasn't secure. So I was like, okay, so I'm going to do mindset work, and then I'm going to become an entrepreneur, like in that order, as though it was two separate things.
Yeah, it's not. I joke too, like being an entrepreneur is just an extended like self-help personal development journey that you get paid sometimes to do.
Right? Yeah. I said to someone yesterday, you set out to be an entrepreneur and you become enlightened by accident. Like,
exactly.
You know, so I quickly discovered that the mindset part of the work and the thinking about your thinking is it's a full-time job, and it's nonstop, never ending. And the good news is it's nonstop, never ending.
Yeah.
So we always get to take control of where we are and decide where we're going and choose the thoughts that are supportive to us. And obviously that takes so much work and so much practice, and there's so much more that goes into it. And I think, you know, the term toxic positivity is getting thrown around a lot lately, and I don't believe in it. What I think is that anyone who thinks that positivity is toxic has not delved deep enough into the work to understand what it really means to do the work. So, you know, it is hard. It's confronting yourself. It's looking at the parts of you that you don't like, and then learning to like them and to love them and to support them and to comfort them and to see where they came from, how they grew to be. And society tells us so much bullshit and we believe it, right? And of course we do. Who wouldn't? When everyone believes it and everyone's doing the same thing, and then all of a sudden you're just like, wait, this is not working for me. I don't want a job. I don't want to answer to someone else. I don't want to trade my time for money. This is all stupid. I want to be happy. And so here we are. And I have to report, I'm actually pretty happy. And also, I have shitty days.
Exactly. Yeah, that's interesting what you said about the toxic positivity, because I see like the angle that people are coming through with because like you just kind of debunked it, because you're allowed to have shitty days, obviously, but the positive part of your life is by no means toxic. So
right. Yeah, and it feels good. And also, the more the work you do, the higher the lows get, right? So, you know, where a shitty day before was me sobbing on the floor for hours in front of the closet, like hitting myself. Now I'm just like, I'm on the couch watching Netflix and I don't want to leave. Like, oh, you know.
Right. Yeah.
The lows get higher, and the way that you deal with them gets better, and you move through them faster when you accept them and just be like, oh, today's not it. Yeah. Let's see what tomorrow brings. You know?
I think that's really key. I had a therapist tell that to me once too. It's like about your recovery time. Like you're never not going to get pissed, or you're never not going to get frustrated. But you know, if you can start shrinking that recovery time, like that's how you know you're, you know, making progress in your inner journey. And so, yeah. Totally.
Yeah, let's just take a minute too to shout out therapy, because coaches are great and so are therapists.
Yeah, both. I want everyone to experience both.
Yeah, they're different things and they get you different results. And honestly, if you're not ready for coaching, then therapy is where you're at, and start with therapy. But once you get to therapy and once you move through therapy, there's a certain level of, okay, well, we've done this and we've worked this through. What is next? And that's coaching. That is someone to help you get to the next level of you when there's nothing wrong. And that's the thing, right? Like there's nothing wrong with people who are getting coaches, and there's nothing wrong with people who are getting therapy. It's just that they're usually looking to rectify a specific thing. You know, where with coaching, sometimes people are like, well, I don't need a coach. Like everything's great. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And it's like, oh yeah, but you could get to another level and you don't even know what you don't know yet. And that's what your coach will see.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so beautiful to like get supported by someone. Like I know my husband gets tired of hearing about like my entrepreneurial things that are going on in my business, or you know what I mean? Like it's nice to have.
Oh, but he's so cute and supportive.
He is adorable and supportive, but I can see like I don't always get the feedback I'm looking for. You know, it's a lot of just supportiveness, and you need that person to be like no, and, or what about this, or ask the right questions. And I'm curious, what is one of the best like coaching moments that you've had, or like what was one of those times when like you were getting coached by someone and kind of got that gut punch, but it was exactly what you needed to hear? Have you had any of those experiences with coaches?
Oh, that's such a good question. You know, I think that the biggest thing that I see when I'm being coached that they are able to reflect back to me that I sometimes have a hard time seeing in myself is actually just how amazing I am. It's and And as a person who is constantly talking about how much I love myself and how great I am, it's really hard to admit that I still struggle to see what everyone else sees, even though that's what I'm presenting. And it's, you know, I live it, I walk it, I talk it. And then sometimes deep down in my dark heart of soul, I'm like, why would anyone listen to me? Like, who am I? That imposter syndrome creeps up for every single person at every level. And actually, you want to know something. This is outside of coaching, but this always sticks out to me. I was at a red carpet event, an awards show, and I was with a person who was nominated, and I had contributed to that. So it was a really big deal, really, really exciting. And the host of the evening saw me and came up to me and he's like, oh, hey, I saw you come in with Nick. Where is he? And I was like, oh, like, he's over there. Like, let's go. And I'm like, having a little bit of like starstruckness, and just my heart is palpitating. Like, you're talking to me, you know, we're like, you know who we are. And so we're chatting, and he's just chatting with us like we're on his level. And he confided in us that he was so nervous to perform that night. And I'm like, you're who you are. I don't want to name drop here, especially because he's a Canadian, so nobody's gonna know who he is. But I'm like, you're who you are. What do you mean? And he's like, oh no, still nerves. And that just made me feel so comforted and terrified, because I was like, shit, this is never going away. Like, you never get to a level where you are completely okay all the time and confident and sure of yourself. Like, there's always going to be these thoughts that creep into your head, and it's learning what to do with them, where to take them, and having a person you can trust to take them to be like, what you talking about, girl?
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like if maybe you've never experienced imposter syndrome or never had those nerves, and you are aspiring to do bigger and greater things, it's time to let yourself get uncomfortable and time to feel those feelings, because it's scary and it's shitty to feel that imposter syndrome, but like, that means you're doing something. That means you're putting yourself out there and getting vulnerable or trying something new or starting a new business or whatever. So it's like hard in the moment, but it's also a little sign like you're moving the needle, you know, where you want to be going.
I love that. That is exactly how I look at it. I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm an imposter. I must be around great people. I must be around great things. I must be in an amazing space if I feel like I don't belong. And one thing I've learned, whenever I am at a table I feel like I don't belong at, I look around and I'm like, nobody else thinks that but me. And I've been at a lot of tables where I felt like I didn't belong, and I had to do a lot of looking around and being like, nobody thinks that but me. Keep going. Just, you're at this table, you belong at this table. The end.
Absolutely. Well, I know that you have been published once or twice now.
Twice now.
Twice. Amazing. Congratulations. That's such an accomplishment. And I'm wondering if you could tell us what that experience has been like for you, what kind of content you're publishing. Walk us through it.
Yeah, so the first project was, it's a oh my gosh. There's 3 books in the series. When
Trilogy?
Words Escape You.
Is it a trilogy?
Trilogy? That I think so.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Help us out, people at home. So there's 3 books, and I'm featured in the 2nd and the 3rd book, and they're collaborations of women coming together to tell their stories of overcoming the shit and how we overcame the shit, and then what we did once we overcame it and how it helped us learn and grow. And so for me, when I got involved in the first project, I didn't really know how these things work, and I wasn't super familiar, But I know that as a marketer, you need to build trust and authority, and publishing a book is a way to do that. So the way that I came across a publisher, actually, she's my friend now, but we were in groups together, and I just was always like, oh, you're so amazing, I love you, like, good job. And when she published her first book, I was just one of the first people to be like, oh my God, this is so amazing, the Canadian link doesn't work, how can I buy? And so, you know, she started kind of following me, and she was like, oh, hey, I've got this next project coming up and I think you might enjoy it. And I had actually already started writing something, because from that place on the floor, actually something had happened. You know, I had gotten into a marriage, a whole marriage.
A whole marriage.
Go big or go home. And it turned out to be abusive. And it took me actually probably until I was out of it to really see that. And through writing this book, actually, so I had started kind of writing it out. That's my go-to. I'm a writer. I journal. All my things turn into my, you know, stories. And through writing it, I came to really see that I had been in an abusive relationship, which was really hard for me to accept and understand, because I am really, really strong, and as are all of us, right? And I didn't think that I could be a victim in that sense, or, you know, that something like that could happen to me. And so through writing this story, I realized that I am merely a human and, you know, capable of making choices that aren't in my best interest, even when it's really clear that it wasn't. And taking kind of accountability for that, not for the fact that I was abused. It's not my fault. It's nobody's fault. And, you know, we got to really separate being a victim and victim mentality. They're not the same. You can be victimized, you can be a victim, but you don't have to have a victim mentality. And here's where that self-reflection comes in. I saw certain red flags and I chose to overlook them because of all of the reasons that you do that. And so taking that lesson and deciding that I don't want to do that the next time, you know, and taking my power back and deciding that, you know, I can recover from this. I can get back to the happy, joyful person that I was before this thing happened. And this thing happened kind of like insidiously. And I really, really didn't see how dramatic the change that went on in my life was, and how I went from there to there. So the book started for me just really as a way to heal, and a way to connect to myself and share my story with others who might feel like they're too strong to be in an abusive relationship, who might think that it couldn't happen to them, or who might be in it right now and don't want to see it because it's really, really hard to admit that to yourself and to your friends and to your family. So I just thought sharing this feels really important for me. And it was. And the collaboration aspect, I just really recommend, because I had the support of the other women who were going through the same process with me, and who were going through the same kind of healing of themselves and confronting these parts of themselves that are really hard to deal with. And then when it published, within hours, it made bestseller status. And that felt really, really, really good.
That's awesome. That's huge.
Yeah.
It shows how important that message was to get out to people.
Yeah. And, you know, the people who contacted me and resonated with my story really helped heal me further, and it helped me really know that I was doing the right thing in the right place at the right time. So by the time the third book of the series was coming out, I had actually already written my chapter.
Amazing.
Yeah. I was just like, well, that was fun. Let's do it again. And by fun, sometimes I spell fun with a capital F-U.
Yeah, there you go.
Because, you know, it's fun, but it's also terrifying, and it's vulnerable, and it's deep in its work, right? And it's putting yourself out there in this way that exposes you. And it exposes you not just to strangers, but also to the people who knew you the whole time.
Which is scarier in some cases.
Right? Yeah. And, you know, I am not responsible for how you feel about your part in my story. But also it is a consideration when you're putting this out into the world that the people in your life are going to feel ways about it, regardless of your intention. And that's for them to deal with. And you can be loving and supportive, but still own your own story and, you know, stay firm and true to that.
Yeah.
So with the second story, I went further back in time to a place where I thought I had healed, to be honest. And then I realized there was a whole nother level of healing, because in all of this time between then and now, the story takes place when I was 21 and I am 42. That is a half a lifetime ago. I had never gone back and really, really appreciated and respected what I did, how hard it was, and how much credit I should have given myself, and how proud of myself I should have been. I was so busy surviving, I didn't even know I was doing something remarkable and amazing. And now I look back at it and I'm like, damn, girl, how'd you do that? How'd you do that? No, seriously. And just to, you know, quick spoiler alert, it's in the first, like, we're talking about the time that I had brain surgery in the second story.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
so
a story.
It was kind of a big thing, you know, and I never really treated it like it was a big thing. I walk around like it's not a big deal that I survived something that kills most people.
Right.
And not only did I survive, but I survived through that really by myself. I didn't have a lot of support. And I mean, like, I didn't have people taking care of me after I had brain surgery.
Wow.
So, and I really felt kind of down on myself that certain things, like I wasn't able to finish university because it was so hard all of a sudden. And I felt like a complete failure because I didn't make honor roll by 1%. What?
Yeah.
Tia, you had brain surgery and then you went to university a month later. Girl, come on. Why were you so mean to yourself? But that's how we are, right? And we don't give ourselves the credit in those moments. And so what that's really helped me to do too is to start taking more credit in this moment right now, because I'm doing really great things and I'm proud of myself. And these things were hard. And so, you know, I don't want to wait another 21 years, another half of my lifetime to be proud of what I am accomplishing right now.
Yeah.
And so we published that book and friends. It made bestseller status again in ours. For a brief moment in time, our book beat Michelle Obama's book.
Wow, that's major. I hope you took a lot of screenshots of.
Oh, yeah. It happened. There is valuable proof. One of my absolute favorite people in the world and mentors, Rachel Peterson. Her book wasn't released yet, to be fair, but we beat her for a few moments in time, and it's just this incredible feeling when you know that people are connecting to what you've done and to what you've said, and it's having impact on them. So, you know, sharing your story in this way, in this collaboration, I highly recommend if it works. Now, I would say that there are some kind of more shady or dodgy situations you got to really gut check when you're in a situation like this. But I highly recommend if you are considering that you want to share a part of your story and you have never published before and you're not sure what to do or where to go, then becoming part of a collaboration is a great idea. And straight up, yes, it is an investment that you make. This is not a get rich quick scheme. You are not going to become majorly rich off of your best-selling novel. All of the proceeds for the Kindle sales, in fact, go to charities, and that is amazing to me. I love the fact that not only are our stories helping, but the proceeds are then also helping. So this is something that you invest in for your own purposes. It's for your healing. And on top of that, now I get to walk around and say I am an two-time international best-selling artist. That's our author. That is priceless, actually, to me, because little Tia wanted to be a writer when she grew up, and that was one of the goals that I had, is to just be a best-selling author. And I made that dream come true for myself. And really, it just blows my mind at how easy it was really to do it. I mean, it was hard to go through the process, but at the end of the day, it was actually really easy once you decide. And as is anything, once you decide that this is what you want, all of the doors open for you to get that.
Exactly. Yeah. And it just takes like conversation and connecting with people. Were there any surprise, like how close were you? You mentioned the group of women who were also writing the book. What was that relationship like? Like, did you guys meet up and like chat or review each other's work? How did that dynamic work?
Yeah, we had meetings together where we all kind of chatted about our process and where we were, and, you know, gave feedback and advice on how to kind of get through those sticky moments. And it was great. Those women are cherished friends, many of them, to me right now. And I'm so glad that I was able to meet and collaborate with them.
Yeah, that's amazing. Do you have any projects in the works? Or are you just taking a little break?
Actually, so I just watched this yesterday. The rough cut of a documentary about me is
Wow. Oh, nothing.
Yeah.
That's cute. That's so awesome. Can you share any more, or is it still like top secret?
No, I can. I was just gonna say, I would say it's more Zach's project than my project. It's about me and I participate in it, but it was his baby. And so in my first triathlon of the season, I met this man in the transition zone, and we just became BFFs immediately. I did up his wetsuit and we just became fast friends, like cheering each other on through the race. And just at the end of the race, we exchanged information. And I kind of have a bit of a reputation at this point at these races. Like, I get the Spirit Award. I'm like the cheerleader. Everybody. I finished these races with this big ass smile on my face. Like, I didn't just swim, bike, and run and I'm half dead. And that's really appealing to people. So he apparently is he is a documentary filmmaker, and he was like, Tia, I'd like to make a documentary about you doing triathlon this year.
So cool.
Yeah. So I was like, okay. It's weird though. I'm an actress, but playing the role of myself was very uncomfortable. And I can, spoiler alert, guys, it should just be called Tia Cries. Forget Tia Tries, Tia Cries.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, so it just kind of covers, you know, a couple of races this season and how I got into it and how it made me feel and how I kind of got to where I am from where I was, where, you know, I was really not in a good spot. And just 3 years later to know how much can change in 3 years. And the other thing too, 3 years are going to pass. Like, 3 years might sound like a long time if you're still on the floor. Mm-hmm. But it didn't take 3 years to get to this point. This is just where we are. I'd say probably I was pretty good. Maybe after a year, I was feeling pretty all right. And so if you think about, a year is going to pass, 2 years are going to pass, 3 years are going to pass, and they're going to pass no matter how you feel or no matter what you do. So why not play the long game? why not think to yourself, well, you know what? I'd like to be happy in 3 years. And set that goal for yourself and just see where it takes you. Promise it won't take 3 years, but having that kind of space for the timeline to play out on its own time. Like, you're not going to go from misery and discomfort and pain and mental illness and being medicated. You're not going to go from that to this overnight. It's absolutely impossible. And who would even expect that from you? The only person who would expect that from you is you. And that's because you're being unrealistic with yourself, right? So for anyone who's really thinking about, making some changes in their life or deciding that they want something different and kind of afraid of how long it's going to take, don't fear time. Time is your friend. Time is with you all day, every day, no matter what you do with it. So use it wisely and use it in a way that is going to benefit you moving forward.
Yeah, I love that message. I feel like too, in the entrepreneurial space and some of the messaging we've been receiving, like from coaches and business coaches and things like that, there's been a lot of emphasis on like doing things quickly or building your 6-figure business like really fast. And like, for me, I took everything that I would listen to on these like podcasts and through gurus and stuff very literally. And then if I wasn't hitting those marks, like, oh, within a month, you're going to have this many clients, or within a year, you're going to make this much money. I too was like super duper hard on myself. So I really like that idea of like opening it up to, take a few years to let things, marinate and grow. And it takes like personal pressure off yourself too. And then that allows you to enjoy the process instead of waiting for like, okay, now I'm happy in 3 years. Like, you can have fun along the way too.
Yeah, exactly. I was the same way I'm like, oh, you can get to 6 figures in six minutes. Yeah. Well, let's go. Let's do that then.
Yeah. And then you get in there and you're like, wait a second.
Right. And one thing that I realized after I had brain surgery, the following summer, I went to work on an island at a winery. And my logic kind of being like, I had a really, really hard year. Everything was hard. I needed a vacation. I couldn't afford a vacation. And I wanted a change of scenery because I thought if I changed my location, then it would change how I felt. And I quickly realized that changing your location does not change you or how you feel at all. You are still the same person in a different place, and you are still going to attract the same people to you in that place as long as you are that person. So the change that has to happen is from inside. And the only thing that you can do and that will guarantee you results is to change how you feel so you feel good. So you always feel good. Because if you're miserable all the time, all day, every day, and then you go on vacation, everything on your vacation is going to be shitty and miserable too, because you were shitty and miserable, right? Like, we are always working towards these goals as though the goal is the thing that's giving us satisfaction or bringing us joy. And then we get to this goal and we're so disappointed in the goal when it doesn't bring us what we wanted to. And so the more important thing is how you feel while you're getting to the goal. And if you're having a good time on the way there, you're going to have a great time when you get there. And then you're going to go to the next thing, right? Like, it's because that hit of excitement when you achieve a goal is short-lived. If there's nothing there to sustain that and carry you to the next thing, then you're going to sink back into wherever you were before you reached that goal. So it's really beneficial to just enjoy where you are, what you're doing, and how you're getting there without worrying over the outcome, because the outcome is inevitable. And time is your friend. So yeah, I I feel the exact same way. Like if I was defining myself by my ability to create $1 million in my business this year, then I would really feel, I would feel like I didn't do it. I don't have my penthouse condo yet. I don't have my private jet. And these are things that I want and that I'm going to have. And like they don't materialize overnight. It's a process to get there. And let me tell you, when I get there, I'm gonna have fun.
I thought you were gonna say I'm gonna have a party and I'm gonna invite you.
Well, yeah, 100%. I'm still looking forward to your 40th birthday party that I'm invited to.
Yes, manifesting that so hard. Amazing. So I'm curious if, I know you have a beautiful, amazing Facebook group, and I think that's a great place if someone is finding themselves on the floor in their closet, that they should probably hop in your group and get some of your amazing energy and inspiration. So could you tell us what it is and what goes on inside and why you started it?
Yeah, so your Sassy Black Friends Facebook group is a place where I want to raise the collective consciousness of the humanity, one person at a time. I want every person in my group to know, understand, and believe that it is their birthright to have joy and fun and enjoy their lives. That is where I'm at in there, and that is what we focus on. That's what we talk about. And I also want to point out too, this isn't just for you if you're on the floor, because I'm not on the floor anymore. I was on the floor and now I'm here. This is also for you if you're ready to go to the next level version of you. You know, whatever it is that you want, you can get out of my group, especially if you are the person who wants to be happy, who wants to find peace, who wants to enjoy Tuesdays and Mondays, you know, not just waiting for your vacation. If you want a life you don't need a vacation from, then you want to be in my group, because that is where the party is 365 days a year.
I love that. I'm like 0% surprised that someone's making a documentary about you. Your energy is just so like inviting and warm and welcoming. Yeah, so that is just so, I didn't know about that before this interview. So that's so cool. I'm really, really proud of you and excited for you. So
thank you, Amy. I appreciate that.
Of course.
I have been also a big fan of yours for a long time. You were one of the people when I first started that I was like, oh, I can be like her.
Yes. I love that. Thank you for the compliment. Yeah. Cool. Well, other than your Facebook group, is there anywhere else people can reach out to you or connect with you, or is that the best place?
Yeah, I have my Facebook group. I have a Linktree at Your Sassy Black Friend. I'm on Instagram-ish and TikTok-ish. I exist in those spaces, and you can find me at Your Sassy Black Friend. And I really do have a goal to make more video content in the future. But right now, it's a lot. It's a lot on Facebook. You can also get into my email list where I will send you, this is really fun. I also created a deck of 33 self-love Sassfirmations. And these are affirmations of self-love. And I call them Sassfirmations because I'm your sassy Black friend. And people have given me feedback that they're not very sassy. And I know they're not sassy. Do you want to know why? Because in this world that tells you so much bullshit, the very act of loving yourself is sassy.
There we go.
So if you want to get on my email list, you'll get the bonus audio of those 33 self-love Sassfirmations. And there's forms for that in my group, or you can sign up into my group and put your email in, and you'll get that bonus audio the next business day.
Amazing. That's so great. And what about your books? Are those on Amazon or?
Oh, yeah. yes, Journey to Now is the most recent, and Journey to My Soul is the first one. And you can also find those on Amazon, and you can get them onto your Kindle. Now, friends, Kindle is an app you can put on your phone. You do not need to go out and buy a whole device. You can just download the app, buy the books from Amazon, put them on your phone. You can also have access to a library on your phone. So if you're into reading and you had no idea that Kindle was so accessible to you, now you do. And the books are about $2.50 or $1.99 US, $2.50 Canadian, and you can download them, put them on your Kindle. There's also hard copies available, and all of that information is also on my Linktree at Your Sassy Black Friend.
Perfect. You know, that's really funny you say that about how the Kindle is just an app. Like, I never connected that. Maybe it's my parents' fault, because I just like picture them with their physical Kindle, and that never connected with me that, oh, I can just like put it on my phone.
And so many people, I got so much feedback from the first round. Well, Tia, we don't have Kindle. Where's the hard?
Yeah. Hello.
Like, it's on your phone. No. I didn't know either. So here we are.
Oh,
as other millennials.
Yeah. I'm like, whoa. Cool. Oh my gosh. Well, I had so much fun talking to you today, and we didn't explicitly say where you're from, but the boats kind of gave you away, and you did mention Canada, I guess. But like, I didn't ask where you're from, but I just love, because I have a raging Wisconsin accent, so I love other friends who have like their little unique accents. So I'm welcoming the Canadianness. I love it.
And I say A all the time too.
So cute. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you again for coming, and I will have all the links for all your things in these show notes. So this will be on YouTube and the podcast land. So depending where anyone's listening or watching, you'll have access to all those. And if anyone wants to connect with me, I'm on Instagram at Amy Leisner, TikTok at Amy Leisner. I have
her TikToks are fire. Don't get on her TikToks.
Oh, thank you. I have fun on that app. I have a freebie for anyone who wants it, and it's a ultimate launch checklist. So if you got it, right?
I got it. It's so good. I've got your ultimate launch checklist, and I am waiting with bated breath for your questions that you ask your VIP day clients. So
yes. Coming soon, I have like over 50 messaging onboarding questions that are great for copywriters who are working with new clients and writing for them to get really in their heads and know their customers and the pain points and all the things. So that is coming soon, and all those links will be here too, to find me and to find Tia. And thank you again for your time, and I will talk to everyone next time.
Bye. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.